Rita Gildersleeve, and this is my KW story.
Today we're joined by Rita Gildersleeve in the New York area, and we're going to hear all about her KW story and how she joined Keller Williams and where she's at today. Rita, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to share.
Good, and you've got a great story. I love where you've gone in the Keller ecosystem and how you ended up here. So let's just jump into it. Tell us about what you were doing before you joined Keller Williams and kind of how you stumbled upon us.
Sure. So it was 2014. I was working as a paralegal at a law office that was about an hour and a half from where I lived. So I was commuting about 3 to 4 hours a day and not entirely loving that, not entirely loving being a paralegal either. And so I was online searching to try and figure out what did I want to do next. I have a bachelor's degree in business management, and it was always my dream to own my own business. And I stumbled across an ad online, and the ad said you could make $100,000 selling real estate. And quite honestly, I had no idea you could do much of anything where I live and make $100,000. So I was definitely intrigued by that. And I signed up for a career night. So I went to the career night, not really having any idea how real estate agents make money, kind of no interest in being in sales either, but curious about what it was all about. And at the career night, I came to learn that with a career in Keller Williams, you can really build your own business through our systems and models. So I was really intrigued by that. They held up and mentioned this red book that they said was the blueprint to success. And I'm a systems and models type of person. So I was really loving hearing that. I left the career night and went home, immediately ordered the MREA book, read it twice because I wanted to make sure I had down that there was a proven system and model that I could work through to make some significant money and really become a business owner. And that's when I ended up getting my real estate license.
So you got your real estate license after a career night, read the MREA twice, right? But you didn't leave your existing career. As a matter of fact, you were a dual career agent for what, 2 years, I believe you said. Tell us what that looked like and the path to becoming a full-time real estate agent and how you ended up there and your plan behind it.
Sure. So once I got licensed, I was not able to immediately quit my job. I needed to be able to build up my book of business first. And so I set a goal for myself. And the goal I set was to have 6 months worth of my bills in a savings account and then another 6 months in pending deals before I felt confident that I could do real estate full time and depends on the income from that. And that took me about 2 years. So like I mentioned, I was commuting down about an hour and a half closer to New York City for my job and working there all day long and commuting back and then showing houses on nights and weekends and doing what I could really to get some money together. All of the money I made for the first 2 years selling real estate, I was able to save, thankfully. And I was also able to learn somewhat, although it was a little bit difficult back in 2014 because there wasn't as many virtual classes as we have now. There was really no Zoom option. So nights and weekends, I was doing as many trainings and reading a lot of books and trying to learn as much as I could. And it took me till about 2016 to save up the money and feel confident that I could leave my full-time job. The other thing that was happening at that time was they decided to roll out Ignite, and they were going to do it in the evenings. So this was something I could now attend. And I was really excited about Ignite because I felt like it was going to teach me everything that I needed to know about selling real estate. And so I set a goal for myself. I now had the money sitting aside and I was going to take every session of Ignite and then I would know it all and be able to just transition to selling real estate full time. So I did that. I would leave my house around 6:45 in the morning, drive down to work all day, drive about an hour to the market center, and take Ignite. The market center was about 40 minutes from my house. I was the closest KW at the time. So that's why I was working out of that office. And so I would do Ignite all evening and then drive home, rinse and repeat for about a month. And once I graduated from Ignite, I was able to leave my full-time job and just transition into selling real estate full-time, which was really exciting for me.
So those are long days. You're getting up, getting ready, leaving your home at 6:45 in the morning, driving an hour, hour and a half to your job, close to New York City. Then you are working all day, right? Which is not easy, right? Work all day, driving another 45 minutes, going to the market center, learning for a couple of hours, and then driving an hour home, rinse and repeat for a month. Now, 2 years is a long time to do dual career, to right, to stick to that tenacity, save the money, like the discipline. What drove you to do that? Why were you so committed to it?
You know, I think it's just I could envision what I wanted my life to look like, and it certainly wasn't what I was doing at that point. It wasn't the long commute. It wasn't the paralegal job that I honestly didn't really love. And I was so in love with the idea that I could have this real estate business. I was in my mid-20s and I, didn't have a ton of money to my name, but for $200, I got this real estate license. And there is this book telling me I could make $1 million a year from it. I mean, there is nothing more motivating than that. So I think really just having a big why behind why I was doing it was a driving factor. And so that made it exciting to go and learn. I also am always somebody that loves learning and loves going to trainings and loves hearing new things. And so Ignite was fun for me to be able to attend, but it definitely was long days. I was doing all my real estate work during the day from an iPad in the law office that I would like sneak into my purse and on my lunch break try to figure out things and do marketing. So it was a lot. And in the end, it definitely was well worth it. I'm so grateful for those couple of years because they really taught me the perseverance that you need in this industry. I would practice my listing presentation in my car during my commute. I would have every conversation under the book you could have while selling real estate during that time. I would lead generate during my commute back and forth. So I tried to use my time wisely, and I was able to do that because I really was motivated about the bigger picture of doing real estate full time.
That's fantastic. So let's fast forward a year. So you become a full-time agent in 2016 sometime, and in 2017 you're asked to actually teach the class that ignited your career, and you're teaching the listing section and something happened. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was asked to teach the listing session of Ignite, which I was super nervous about. I hadn't taught anything in the market center yet. And so I had prepared for days and had all sorts of notes and things. So I got to the market center a half hour early to make sure the room was set up and I could familiarize myself with the projector and all of the things going on. And Anna Gibbs, who is our general manager now, but at the time was the team leader in our market center, walked in the room. And as all good team leaders do, she had a great question for me. And so she asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you think is next for your career path? And I mentioned to her that when they launched the new market center, so at the time I was working in a market center, like I mentioned, about 40 minutes from my house. That was the closest KW office to me. They were working on, though, developing a market center in the area where I actually sold business and lived. And so I said, when you launch that market center, I would love to be considered for the productivity coaching position because it seems really interesting. And you know me, I love business models and systems and creating business plans and helping agents. And so that's something I'm super interested in. And she said, well, wouldn't you know that the productivity coach in this market center actually just gave us notice that she's not interested in doing it next year, heading into 2018. So if I could create that opportunity for you sooner than later, would that be something that you're interested in? Which of course I was super excited about that and said, yes. So they put me through the full career visioning process. And then I stepped into the productivity coaching role at the beginning of 2018. That was my first year serving on the ALC. And I was still selling real estate full time as well.
So that's a pretty busy schedule. Now you've stepped in selling real estate full time. We are 4 years licensed at this point in 2018. Full-time real estate agent, full-time PC coach. You have some pretty solid numbers in there as a PC coach. Walk us through what it looked like for you as a PC coach. What were those numbers? What'd that look like?
Sure. So when I stepped into the role in the beginning of 2018, there was 6 agents in the PC program. Most of them were dual agents like I was, but not really super active in the business. And so my goal really at the time was to build the program, because anybody that knows the productivity coaching program knows that success really is in having a large program. At the time, there was this huge book that they would hand you. It was honestly like this thick, and it had all sorts of systems and models and coaching tools and things in it. So I dug into that at the end of 2017, put a structure to the program. I developed an 8-week launch course for newly licensed agents, and then I hit the ground running. So my first year, 2018, I recruited 58 agents into my program. The second year, it was 60 agents into my program. I also was able to secure coaching contracts with a couple of the teams in our market center. So I started coaching some of the teams and helping out with the career visioning process and helping coach their buyers agents into production. And we were able to exceed $100,000 in company dollar and hit our company dollar goals as well as our recruiting goals each year. I was in that role for about 2.5 years.
So I would call that a knock out of the park, if I was to say so myself. And that earned you the right for another opportunity. So let's enter the next opportunity. What came next?
Yes, enter COVID. So
it presented unique opportunities.
Right. So early 2020, I was working in the productivity coaching role. I was helping launch the productivity coaching program in that new market center. So now the new market center where I lived was up and running. We were doing the rollout. We had been incubated and we rolled out into the new office. So I was working on building out the PC program there. And when COVID happened, I really sat and reassessed what I was doing every day. And I looked at all of the things that I was doing. I was training a lot. I was running the education calendar on the ALC. I had my PC program. I was recruiting. And then I had my real estate business. I was working with buyers and sellers. My husband had actually just quit his full-time job and come into business with me to be my admin for everything. And so I looked at everything that I really loved to do. And what I found was at the top of the list was the coaching and training. I really am passionate about helping real estate agents build big businesses for themselves. I love business models. I love systems. I love operations. I love recruiting. There's no one more excited than a newly licensed agent. Like nothing's gone wrong for them yet, and the whole world's in front of them. So I loved talking to people about Keller Williams and all of that. So when we launched the market center, the team leader in our Middletown office was interim team leader. So they were looking for the permanent team leader in the newly launched KW Hudson Valley North. And so I raised my hands again for that opportunity and said, this might be something I'm interested in. And so I went through the career visioning process again for the TL role, and then stepped into that role in July of 2020. We had about 40 agents in the market center. The office was still being built out. So the back was basically an orthodontist office. We had the leadership offices in the front that we could go into, but it didn't matter anyway because agents weren't allowed in the office. We were doing everything on Zoom. It was definitely a really interesting time to step into a leadership position in a brand new market center.
Now, you guys had great success. So tell us what 2021 looked like. You were a home run market center, right? Brand new team leader. You became a home run launch market center. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I have to give credit also to Anna, because Anna Gibbs, she really incubated the market center before I stepped into the team leader role. So she set up a really great base and a really great foundation for that office. So when I stepped in, we were in forward motion already, moving. And so I was able to kind of take the baton and run with it in 2020. And in 2021, we were awarded the Home Run Launch Award at KW, which was really awesome. I got to go on stage at last year's Mega Leadership Camp, and that was fun. And it really, though, was a group effort. It wasn't me, although I did the recruiting, it was the great people and the leadership teams in the office, the foundation that I came into when I was able to enter in, the agents that partnered with us. So Keller Williams was a brand new, really concept idea in our area. It was mostly very traditional brokerages. And so the agents that were willing to partner with us at the beginning and come in and grow with us really helped us get to that in our first year in business.
I think there's a couple of important things to highlight out in her story. Is one, 2014, brand new licensee, dual career agent for 2 years. Attends Ignite, makes the plan financially to save the money for 6 months. We have reserves, boom. You take the leap, right? She takes the leap. A year later, experienced agent, been full-time for a year, you begin teaching others. Then that leads to an opportunity as a PC coach where you develop other people. You're using the systems, the models, the MREA, which inevitably leads you to a TL position, and your success as a TL has opened more doors. So what's the next door that opens?
So the next door that opens, I sat down again and thought, what is, again, what do I like doing most and how can I do more of that? And so at this point, our ownership group is 3 market centers. We have about 500 agents. We have 3 productivity coaching programs. And as KW does, we're usually at the forefront as new things are rolling out in the industry because we're so large and we have boots on the ground all across the country. And so this teamrich information started rolling out about, I don't know, a year and a half ago, maybe. And my ears perked up again, and I thought that's really interesting. And so I am now in the process of transitioning from the team leader role into a director of productivity role where I'll be working across all 3 of our market centers, diving back into productivity coaching, but from an operational standpoint. So I won't be directly coaching and training the agents, but I'm overseeing our programs and putting systems and models and structure into place so that they become scalable. And then I'm also running our teamrich and our leads program across all 3 market centers because what we're seeing with the market currently and with agent trends is that agents really want the option of having a dependent model where maybe they can receive leads and marketing support and admin support from market center. So I'm going to be responsible for all of that, which is very exciting to me.
That's very exciting. Congratulations. Now, that's one crazy trajectory, right? You bounce it through a lot of different roles, agent, TL, PC, now the teamrich. It just goes to show that talent loves opportunity, right? And talented people will seek those opportunities and do what they need to do to achieve them. So I think it's a fantastic track record, and you've accomplished amazing things. Now, the end of our calls, we always go to 2 things. First, what's the moral of the story you want everyone to get out of this? If you were to say, I hope someone takes this from this conversation, what would that be for you?
Sure. So quite honestly, I have a lot of my career obviously is my hard work and, the opportunities and all of that. But it was me raising my hand to growth-minded people. So when I first came in 2014, our OP Rosemary had 2 market centers. One was new and launching. And in that time, she has expanded and has a 3rd location. They have a title company, an insurance company. Like they're constantly growth minded. And so that is my biggest advice. If you're growth minded, make sure the person and the people that you're getting into business with are growth minded as well, because they'll be motivated to create opportunities for you. Between her and Anna, every time I've raised my hand or I've said I'm interested in something, they've figured out a way to help me get there. And so for anybody that is really looking to advance or grow on a leadership track, that's my biggest piece of advice is when you're looking at who you're going to do that with, make sure that they're just as motivated as you to grow, because then really you can open up unlimited opportunities for you.
That's awesome. That's a great thing to point out, to make sure you're joining into worlds that are big enough to hold what you want. All right, and the fun one. What's one thing people probably don't know about Rita?
Some people probably do know this, but most people probably don't. I'm actually currently on maternity leave, so I have a 2-month-old that I'm praying doesn't cry before we wrap up this video. And so I'm on maternity leave currently. This is the first time I've like done my hair and put on makeup in 2 months, and it's been lovely. And so I'm really excited about my new role in our organization, and also being able to be a working mom and show my son, all of the things that are possible when you're growth minded and entrepreneurial and all of those great things.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, thank you for taking the time out from your family today to spend with us. If anybody needs to find you, Rita, how can they do that? How do we get a hold of you?
Sure. So you can email me, ritam@kw.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Rita Gildersleeve. Same thing on Facebook, Rita Gildersleeve. And if anybody has questions or wants advice or just to share their story with me, I would love to hear it. You can either email me or find me on social media.
Rita, I thank you so much for your time today. It's lovely to hear a story of somebody who went through the hard parts of being a dual career agent and has been able to achieve so much in the ecosystem and be in big worlds. I hope you all enjoyed this interview. If you need to get a hold of Rita, you've got her information. It will also be at the end of this video. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.